Welcome back. In the end of the last video, I mentioned the idea of a Condorcet candidate. So remember that in an election where voters submit preference ballots, a candidate is called a Condorcet candidate if they beat every other candidate head to head. To see what this means, let's look at an example. So here's a preference schedule we've looked at before. Recall that when we say head to head, what we really mean is that if all other candidates were eliminated. So let's look at how each pair of candidates matches up head to head. There are three possible head to head matchups: A versus B, A versus C, and B versus C. Okay, let's look at the first one, A versus B. All other candidates should be eliminated, so we'll eliminate candidate C. And now I'll look at in each column which of the remaining two candidates is ahead. So in the first column, A is ahead of B. Second column, A is also ahead of B. And in the last three columns, B is ahead of A. So tallying up the votes for A ahead, we get 15, and tallying up the votes for B's ahead, we get 27. Now let's do the same thing for A versus C. We're going to eliminate the candidate B, and we'll see which of the remaining two candidates is ahead, A or C, in each column. So in each of the first three columns, A is ahead of C. I'll highlight those in yellow. And in the last two columns, C is ahead of A. I'll highlight those in blue. Tallying up the columns where A is ahead, we get 23 for A. Tallying up the columns where C is ahead, we get 19 for C. So let's do this one more time for B versus C. So I'll eliminate A from each column, and we'll look at which candidate B or C is ahead among the remaining. So I'll highlight in green the ones where B is ahead, and I'll highlight in blue the ones where C is ahead. Tallying these up, we get that there are 24 for B and 18 for C. And now let's just look at who wins each of these head-to-head matchups. So B wins when it's just A versus B, A wins when it's just A versus C, and B wins when it's B versus C. So in this example, B won both of their head-to-head matchups. So B is what we call the Condorcet candidate for this election. Now remember, we've looked at this preference schedule a few times using a few different voting systems. Remember, in the plurality voting system, C was the winner. In the board account, B was the winner. And in plurality with elimination, A was the winner. So an important point here is that depending on the voting system, there may be a Condorcet candidate, but the Condorcet candidate may not necessarily be the winner of the election. Even though the candidate wins all of their head-to-head matchups, they may not win the election in certain voting systems. Now we know what it means to be a Condorcet candidate, which brings us to the next idea, which is the Condorcet condition. A voting system is said to satisfy the Condorcet condition if it always selects the Condorcet candidate, if there is one, as the winner. It's important to note that the Condorcet condition is a property of the voting system as a whole, not a property of any particular candidate or any particular election. It's a property of the voting system. It says something that the voting system has to always do in any preference schedule or in any election. Going back to the example that we just looked at, C would have won if we were using a plurality voting system. And this happened even though B was the Condorcet candidate. Now, if the plurality voting system satisfied the Condorcet condition, B should have won this election because the Condorcet candidate always wins. So because we have an example of the Condorcet candidate not winning in the plurality voting system, the plurality voting system must not satisfy the Condorcet condition. By similar logic, since B would not have won under the plurality with elimination voting system, despite being the Condorcet candidate, plurality with elimination as a voting system does not satisfy the Condorcet condition. Another way of saying this is that this preference schedule exhibits an election in which the Condorcet candidate does not win under plurality with elimination. So the condition that the Condorcet candidate always wins, the Condorcet condition, does not hold for plurality with elimination as a voting system. One more point to make here is that candidate B, the Condorcet candidate, would have won this election in the boarding count voting system. However, this example alone is not enough to conclude whether or not the board count voting system satisfies the Condorcet condition. We can see that in this election, the board count voting system selected the Condorcet candidate as the winner, but what we're really asking when we ask about the Condorcet condition is whether the board count voting system always selects the Condorcet candidate as the winner if there is one. Let's look at one more example. I won't go through all the calculations here, but you can show that A ends up being a Condorcet candidate for this preference schedule. And you can also calculate that candidate B wins if we're using a board count voting system. So now we've seen two examples of elections with the board count, one where the board count voting system selects the Condorcet candidate and one where it doesn't. However, in order to satisfy the Condorcet condition, board count was supposed to always select the Condorcet candidate. So since we've exhibited an example where board count doesn't select the Condorcet candidate as the winner, we have to say that board count does not satisfy the Condorcet condition. So now we've learned that all three of the voting systems we've encountered so far do not satisfy the Condorcet condition. However, in the next video, we'll learn about one that does. We'll learn about a voting system that always selects the Condorcet candidate as the winner if there is a Condorcet candidate. I'll also mention that this idea of studying conditions on a voting system as a whole is a new level of sophistication. We're not just looking at one election, but we're thinking about how a voting system handles all possible preference schedules or all possible elections. This kind of thinking about the properties of a voting system as a whole is what we'll be doing more of in the last few videos of this unit.